Good morning, fabulous friends. Welcome back to my channel. Solish Fam Glenaville Manarang here, your woman. I'm no longer a girl. Although transitioning from a girl to a woman in the 40s is kind of weird, right? We're not teenager anymore and we're not older women anymore. So this is why sometimes you just don't know your style and you don't know what suits for you. But today is about doing my makeup and then just drink some coffee. Just got this from yesterday. My husband brought this home and I haven't got a chance to drink it. So I just put it in this fridge, and this morning this is the thing, I just have to reheat it and drink it. And by the way, before I start, I know I'm like all over the place. I'm just so excited. Have you guys been to swap meet? I mean, there's this local swap meet close to us and we've been living here for 12 years and we've always been talking that we're gonna go there. Finally we went this past weekend, my husband and I and my son, and look what I've got. I know it's not real gold, but I think it's so cute. It's so dainty. And just how you pull the string and you just, I don't know, I was so excited. There's so many things to see. We had tacos and carnitas. Muy bien. Muy bien. And I told my husband, I can't believe there's so much stuff, and why in the world did we never been here before? And there's so many people because it was the weekend. And so I thought it was so cute, and I just have to leave because your girl's stomach was growling, although my husband and son still want to go walk because there's a lot to see. But I'm thinking to myself, it's better that we leave now because there's so much that I want to buy. I bought some vase and I also bought this beautiful necklace I'm gonna wear. Look how beautiful that is. Like with my new. Anyway, this is not a QVC. So today let's talk about the standard beauty of this world. Beauty standards, this is actually some kind of an idea that I have acquired from this woman that I've been watching and following recently. For some reason, the YouTube algorithm just feed it on my channel or my feed YouTube. Unblah yourself. So it's true that the standard of beauty in the 21st century has tremendously changed. So while I'm blabbing here, I am actually going to do my makeup. So this is a moisturizer, Innisfree. I already washed my face and I didn't get a chance to show you that one. And it's important that you wash your face and you moisturize. And just recently I just got myself a, whatever you call this, sunscreen lotion. I'm terrible. I don't usually wear sunscreen. Don't ask me why. Maybe because I don't like the smell of it, or it gets so greasy. There's so many sunscreen out there that I just tried it many times. I get disappointed. Let me see my... And so what happened is that every time I use sunscreen, it leaves this thickness on my face. It's icky. It's just too not good. But this is actually a good texture. So I'm in my closet. I don't know about the lighting here. Let me adjust the lighting. It's just, I don't know. Maybe there it goes. Okay, there's the lighting. So this is, I'm looking here because the mirror is here. Wow, this is smooth and it glides. This is the first time I'm going to use this. Hawaiian Tropic Sheer Touch. This is a 50 SPF. So 50, it lasts for 50 minutes. So the SPF usually has the number in it because it will tell you how long you should reapply. Okay, so if it says 50, that's how long the thing is gonna last. That's gonna be effective at 30 minutes. So something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so this is why beauty standard has changed. And she really just said about the 90s beauty, like the role models, the model on the runway, like Cindy Crawford and Naomi and all those women in the old days, how they are so different, like a box of chocolate. It comes with different variety. And she was actually comparing that to now standard beauty. And she pointed out such a clear and obvious thing that they want to be just look alike. It's really scary. And we have to be aware and talk about this, ladies, because if I have a daughter and the kind of people that we're looking up to who wants to have a standard beauty that we just want to look like clones, bunch of clones, the same faces, the same noses, the same like contouring hair. And my face at one point, I just have to accept the fact that I do have a round face. Every one of us have different shapes. Round, oval, heart shape, kind of pointed out. But that's just how God created us to be. If we're going to allow celebrities or societies, now, before I do this, I'm not saying that you should hate on people. If that's their preference to uplift their beauty, then let them be. But we have to be aware that we cannot just allow, again, celebrities or society to change the standard of beauty. The reason why God created people for who they are, because God loves variety. He loves different colors. If he would have want people to look alike, look the same, he would have created a robot with remote control. I'm just saying. So this is why we have to be on guard as a child of God, not to be conformed to this world's pattern, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind. God said you are beautifully created in his image. What does Satan do? Lies to women all the time. Remember what Satan said to Eve? Did God really say not to eat that? So sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror. Are you sure your nose is not crooked? Or maybe you should fix your nose, or your chin is double chin right now because you're growing old. These are the kind of lies, the same lies that Satan have been attacking to us for many, many years. He has not changed. He will always lie to us. So he will use people, especially today. We are being fed on social media. Every time you browse, there goes a perfect body. There goes a perfect face with a nice nose and a pointed chin and contouring. And if we're not careful, again, we're just going to look like them. Barbie dolls, bunch of Barbie dolls. It is so artificially made. It is not even natural. It's not even exude this confidence. So I'm using this cream. This is a BB cream plus a, what do you call this? Sunscreen too. I love BB creams. They're not too much. And I've been loving this too foundation that's a skin cover. So these have been the things I've been using. Now, ladies, you don't need to buy a lot of stuff. I don't know why women do it. Again, I'm being judgmental. I'm sorry if I'm going to trigger you today or make you upset. I am just telling the truth that we as women, we've been bought another lie, is that the more stuff we have accumulating a lot of makeup, the better it is. Actually, less is more. I don't know. My philosophy in life is less is more. I mean, I don't know why some of us have a lot of choices. I can't have a lot of choices. It really hurts my brain to have a lot of choices. I am a person, well, whatever you call it, ADHD, but it's like, I don't even know which one is good, which one is better. But this product, I have really tried this many times before, Maybelline BB cream. It's too inexpensive. I went to Target and I just bought that thing because it's all the same. $30 foundation, although sometimes the quality and the texture might not be the same, but your purpose is to cover your face, right? You just want to cover the blemishes, especially when you're at a certain age. I don't know why this thing is not working. And this too is this is from Korean store, so you cannot find this anywhere else unless you go to the Korean town. And I just found this and it's so beautiful. And right now, this is what I have because I'm just gonna probably staying at home and do some work in my computer. I'm so behind, you guys. So much things happening in my life. My husband's work and relationships, and my sons after school. I have to keep him entertained because now he's at home. So as a mother, I have to juggle and I have to make sure that everybody is accommodated, and I have to make sure that my son is not bored being at home as a mother. And so standard of beauty, let's go back there. Why is it that we have been told to just look alike? I don't know who started this, because it really is doing disservice to us women. If we are not careful, if we're not vigilant, we're gonna most likely fall into the same trap. This is a trap. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's really sad that some of us really believe this lie, that you are not beautiful just the way you are, and you are full of insecurities, and next thing you know, you're just gonna go and find a doctor to change or uplift your nose and your chin. But God said you are fearfully and wonderfully made, uniquely made in the eyes of God. You are perfect in his image. And again, as I said, it's just sad how she was comparing some celebrities that I'm not even going to name celebrities here because exactly that it's going to be like, oh, she's hating on celebrities. I'm not. I'm just saying that when you look at them, there's certain celebrities that have the same noses, the same kind of like, what do you call this? Size and the same face. They look like a bunch of clones. I feel like, what is going on in our society today? And please, if you're going to say to me about embrace yourself, be who you are, be authentic, and be confident for who you are. If you have done something on your face, I'm sorry, you're not qualified to give me that advice. Okay? You're just not. Because you're just being hypocritical. There goes the word, hypocritical. And if you told me that, oh, you have to be confident and love yourself and embrace yourself, be authentic, and I find out that, well, you just had your nose done and face done and you're not really happy for who you are not the one person that I should go to, and you are not very credible. Because, honey, if you have been going to the doctor and changing something on your face or uplifting, I don't think you really love yourself that much and you're very insecure. I know some people is going to say, well, this is going to enhance my beauty. Enhancement your beauty is using makeup, okay? Enhancement. It's not permanent. When you say enhancement, it is just a temporary fix. To enhance is to temporarily focus on one areas of your skin or your face that you want to accentuate, that you want to enhance temporarily. But when you say enhancement, that is a permanent thing. You cannot reverse that. I don't think you can. So what else did I do? So this is, now I'm going to use this for my eye, whatever you call this, lashes. So even in the influencer, okay, you see influencers who started, very innocent, and they also have the same face now. They're trying to copy everybody else. Another influencer that I also follow, I have compared her pictures way back when she started her vlog and her influencer job to now. Oh my goodness. I feel like, am I looking to the same woman? Again, she just changed and wanted to be the same cloning with a celebrity that I'm not going to name. And it's just sad how this is becoming a pandemic or epidemic, that we are now trying so hard to be just like everybody else. Okay? That's exactly what Timothy said in the Bible. When Paul said, when you want to become rich, you are going to fall into so many traps, foolish destruction. You're going to pierce yourself with many sorrows. Because if you have so much money in this world, you have a lot of money, and you don't know where to spend your money, especially for us women, we get bored all the time. We usually pick on our body. I mean, what else are you going to do? You have millions of dollars. And as a Christian, we are told to be content of what you have. Contentment is being happy of where you're at right now, being happy of the kind of body and face that God has given you. That's why God probably up there is scratching his head. These people are such an idiot. Some women want to have curly hairs. And then if you have curly hairs, you want to have straight hairs. If you have straight hairs, you want to have curly hairs. And then some women want to have tan. And women want to have this pale skin. It's like God does not make mistakes, okay? He just doesn't make mistakes. People, though, we are just so convoluted in our idea that we're better than God. So we recreate this standard. You cannot recreate the wheel. God already decided this is what you're going to look like, whether you like it or not. You just have to embrace it. You just have to accentuate it using makeup. Because as I said again, those things are permanent. And isn't it disservice to your ancestors or your parents when here you are trying to change the nose, the structure of your nose, because you don't want to have that kind of nose. But when your mom and dad, you look at them, the reason why you are you, because there's a combination between your mom and your dad. But then if you change that, what remembrance do you have? So if you have children someday and your kid is going to look at you, compare your picture or your face to their grandparents, wouldn't you think the child is going to say, how come you look so different and weird apart from my grandparents? Your nose is not like your grandparents. So you have no remembrance. If you somehow want to erase that remembrance or that kind of resemblance with your ancestors, I mean, I don't know. It's just something that we try so hard to recreate and eliminate the history of what makes us different and unique. And it's really becoming crazy. It's so on point where artificial intelligence is rising and their superficiality is getting out of tangent and out of hand. We have to be very careful in these last days, as Satan is very cunning. He is so deceitful that he has been lying to women, telling us that being you is just not good enough. You have to change yourself to be loved and to be accepted and to be liked in this world. Another thing that I just want to say about beauty standard, instead of focusing on your physical attributes, because that's exactly the standard of the world, We need to have a fit body, a toned body, muscle, which is good to have all those wonderful thing about physicality because we look confident when we're toned and healthy. But we always change our external. Wouldn't you think? We always emphasize or focus or reiterate on the physical, but we never talk about the character of a woman. This is why no matter how many times as women we buy makeup and we put something on our face or we go shopping, somehow when we are not complete and we're not really fully accepting of who we are still unhappy people. We are still insecure and we overeat ourselves and we overindulge because we are still insecure, even though no matter how much you have clothes in your closet, because if you don't deal with your heart, because the heart is the problem of all things. I mean, you cannot fix your heart. The heart is deceitful above all else. And if you try so hard to mask your pain by putting a lot of makeup, eventually that rottenness in yourself is just going to come out. Okay, no matter how pretty you look and how much makeup you put on your face to cover up your pain and your trauma, guess what? It's not going to change. Because I can tell you that when I was also in my teenage years and I was not dealing with my trauma then, I was good at hiding my trauma. I was good at masquerading my pain. I did not tell a soul that I was dealing with abuse at home. And here I was trying to exude to the world that I was the most confident woman. But then when I was in my relationship with other men or other girlfriends, sometimes I would sabotage the relationship and we would have fallout and I would just have this outburst of anger. I would get snappy all of a sudden over the little things insignificant. I was always triggered every time. And here I always had my hair done. My makeup was always nice and beautiful, but I just didn't understand what happened to me that I didn't really feel good about myself per se. I was trying so hard to pretend and show the world that I was a woman who had it all together, but deep down inside my heart, I was so broken. I was wounded and I was screaming for help, but because I was so shameful and I was feeling guilty that if I just somehow going to tell the world that I was dealing with this, no one is going to take me seriously and they're going to look at me differently, because we are so afraid of what people might say or think about us. We are so afraid of what the standard or the people's, what do you call this? Pleasing people all the time. I used to be that people pleaser. What are people going to say? What are people going to think of me if I tell them exactly? Here I was trying so hard to cover up my pain and to masquerade my trauma. But then if I'm going to show them, I'm just not going to be taken seriously. They're going to look at me as a victim. So all of these things that you really have to deal with. This is why on my channel, I'm always talking about sit with your pain. You have to deal with your issues from your childhood issues and trauma. And even if people are 50s, 60s, I have seen it too. Okay. They're always shopping. What are you doing? I'm going to the mall. What are you buying? Too much makeup. Because there's an underlying insecurity in that, and there's an underlying problem in that, because we try so hard to fix something that is broken inside of us, and we can't do that. God only is the only one who can change us and who can fix our broken soul. Jesus even said, oh, that's awful. I didn't mean to do this. I don't even know what I'm doing. I cannot talk and put on makeup at the same time, people. I just suddenly picked this one and it makes it so different. Oh my gosh, that's so awful. So I'm just going to blend it. So remember the woman, as I always talk on my channel about the woman at the well. She is a perfect example. I always love that story. You know why? Because she is relatable. This woman, Jesus had compassion. I think Jesus was really a man who wanted women to really wake up and says, girl, you need to find out that I am the only one who can give you the fountain of living water. Because the woman at the well, Jesus went his way to meet this woman specifically. Okay, Jesus was not supposed to go at that place, but it said somewhere in the Bible that says Jesus went out his way to meet this woman. This woman had so many issues because of all the times that she would fetch water from the well, she would make sure that there was no other women around. So she was avoiding some women, maybe because maybe she had a falling out with the women, because maybe she had again, wounded soul, like many of us. And so she specifically fetched this water at the well when it was, I think, in the afternoon when no one was around. And Jesus somehow sat next to her at the well while his disciples got something to eat. And he started talking to her. And I'm pretty sure if you have probably heard me talk about her many times, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He casually asked her, "Can I have water?" And she said, "I have nothing to draw the water from," meaning to say, "Well, I have this pail, but I don't know, I have no glass to give it to you." To make the story short, Jesus pointed out to bring your husband. And then she replied, "I have no husband." And Jesus said, "You have spoken the truth, because you're right. You have no husband. Because the person that you're living with, the man that you're living with right now, is your sixth man. You've been married 5 times." Talking about emptiness. I really don't know what happened there. Let's just get rid of this. Thank God I have this. I don't know. I don't like that color. So I'm using this wipes. So that's what it is. See? Enhancement. You can just erase if you make mistakes of your makeup. You can erase that. But with other things, forget it. So let's redo this again. Let's make it dry. So this is the reason why Jesus pointed out to her the obvious. You are broken. You are wounded. You have been so wounded that you've been marrying 5 times. And the person that you are living with right now is not really your husband. Now, does it mean that maybe she cheated? I mean, this man cheated and then she became a mistress? I don't really know what Jesus meant when he's not really your husband. Or maybe they're just live-in partner. I don't know. But that's exactly why Jesus was the greatest counselor for that woman, because Jesus said, "You are empty. No matter how many times you think that a man is going to make you complete, like the Jerry Maguire, you complete me, it's a lie. Because we cannot look for a man to complete us. Men are fallible. Our husbands are fallible. They're never going to make us happy. Sometimes it just pisses us off as women. I mean, my husband doesn't always make me happy, makes me happy. But it doesn't mean that we don't need them. It doesn't mean that we don't need a man. But Jesus was pointing out something that instead of trying to fill your soul with these external things that are temporary, I can fill you up. It's a spiritual try of making you whole and complete. So Jesus was just saying that not that Jesus was saying you don't need a man to make you happy. That's not exactly what Jesus is saying. He was just pointing out to her that you've been trying to fix yourself by having to rely on a man to make you happy and complete. This is a bronzer that I just bought, Revolution. I think it's so pretty. So I wasn't sure if I'm gonna use the blush or this blush that I use, or I'm just gonna put it all over my face. I don't really know. Don't ask me. I'm not very good at makeup. I sometimes go a day without no makeup on because it's good to let your skin breathe. Okay, so that's why Jesus was always telling women that, well, not telling women, but that's one of the stories that Jesus was really for women. Okay, that Jesus loves women. He just loves women, because if not, he would not even bother going out his way and meeting this woman by telling her that you need to get your act together and you have to attach with the vine, as Jesus is the vine and we are the branches. And apart from the vine, we can't really do anything, right? We can't. Why is this wet? I really don't know. So the reason why this woman was so lost, because she relied on a man. And as I said, if we are truly a born-again Christian, we cannot just rely on a man. And how do we develop our character? One of the qualities of being a feminine, which I'm still studying and trying my best to develop a femininity, because it's something that we don't talk as a society. We just don't know, especially when we have so much people who exude this masculinity, very empowered women, right? Of course, we need to empower women, but at the same time, we lost the sight of being a feminine, a gentle feminine. No wonder why Peter says in 1 Peter 3:4, "Be the hidden person of the heart, incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the eyes of God." That is the quality. That's a character that God loves. As I said, Humans, the world usually only focuses on the external, the face, the body, the hair. We invest more time and money on our physical attributes and our physical traits that is external, but we normally do not emphasize on cultivating this kind of characteristics. Gentleness, quietness, are you kidding me? Hidden person of the heart. I mean, we're the women who loves to always share everything online. We love to just share whatever comes in on our head, and we just want to type it away and make a comment. And we are love to just have this attention to ourselves. Wouldn't you think this is the kind of standard that we have today? That as a woman, before we comment something or before we say something or share something online, we should stop. We should pause. We should ask ourselves the question, is it necessary? Is it helpful? Does it contribute positivity or negativity? I mean, these are the kinds of things that we really have to be careful as a woman, because as a woman, we're so emotional. We're impulsive. We just like to say things without thinking. I always get in trouble with my husband and I triggered him all the time. And that is the problem, because as a woman, we're very emotional. We are very easily get drawn or get we allow our emotion to dictate our decisions. And the problem with that is we're gonna fall into argument. We're going to trigger some people, and especially when we are in PMSE, we're not in the best mood. And this is why sometimes God's beauty standard says gentleness and quietness. I am not the most gentle and quiet person since I moved in the Western culture, USA, okay? For some reason, as I said, something wired that changed us as a woman, or probably if you're a man, you can attest to this. If you have been brought up in a culture like the Asian culture, where being loud and being quiet is somehow natural for us, especially I grew up, it was something that I was brought up to, that kind of environment. I was not allowed to, scream or yell or, I got mad, but I was never able to curse until I moved to the United States or express my emotion. For some reason, the beast inside of me was awakened. And that's when it becomes so extreme that I have to find this balance. I have to find the level between not too obnoxious and not too loquacious, and somehow learn to balance the two, when to speak and when to become silent. It's this balance of yin and yang. There's a time to speak, there's a time to be quiet. And that is something that we have to cultivate as a woman. We cannot always speak our mind, the first thought or the second thought that comes out of our head, because usually that is judgmental, or we become accusing the other person. It makes the person pissed off. As I said, that's the number one complaint of my husband, is that you're very tactless. You are not thinking before you speak. And I am guilty of that, because especially when you're so upset and you're like internalizing everything, and all of a sudden you're triggered and you just want to say the first thing comes out of your mind, that sometimes it's better to just be quiet and not say it at all and think about it first, and then probably you can talk about it. And so, hidden person of the heart. Let's talk about hidden person of the heart. As I said, it's about not oversharing things. There are things in our lives as women that we need to keep it to ourselves. And if somehow you really need someone to talk to, maybe you find a confidant, a trusted friend, your mom, your sister, that you can vent your frustrations, or God, an outlet, writing it in a notebook, like journaling. These are the outlet that we can use, because sometimes, especially as a wife, I have learned that your husband is already carrying a lot of things. He's already thinking. He has so many responsibilities, and you're adding too much pressure on him by sharing your problem that is sometimes it's really trivial as a woman. I mean, really, what are we going to complain about? Like my body, my weight, my hair. Sometimes we just go to our husband over trivial things that we can fix ourselves, right? So there are times that we just not overshare or do not complain. A hidden person of the heart is uncomplaining, not oversharing. So when you say hidden, it's you keep it to yourself. As I said, if it's necessary for you to share it, then you must find that trusted friend or person that you can share your problem with, or talk to God, or talk to yourself most of the time. Because I said to myself, I rather talk to myself, because why? I can listen myself of what I'm saying, and I can pray about it and then ask God, Lord, just take it from me, because it's too big for me to handle. There are problems in our lives that God needs for us to help us and to intercede on our behalf. There are just things in our lives that we cannot do it in our own effort. We need God's direction. We need his wisdom. We also need his guidance, and says, this is the way and this is not the right way. And sometimes when I think back as a woman, I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know what I look like. I look weird. Maybe because it's the lighting here. I really don't like this lighting. It's just terrible lighting here. This thing, I need to change it. And so we have to find out, and I think I want to put this, that as a woman, we really have to find that the hidden person of the heart is about cultivating as incorruptible beauty. The standard of God's beauty is gentleness and quietness. Quietness. Uncomfortable. Sometimes as a woman, we just like to talk a lot. We love to rant on and on and on. And men do not do those things. Sometimes they probably tune us out. Less is more. Not just with makeup, also with our conversation with our husbands. And I've been taking notes that there are things in our lives that, as a woman, there are times that we just have to self-introspect and reflect on ourselves. I do this a lot because I can be grounded. And that's why David says, examine my heart, O God, and know my thoughts. Because sometimes we have hidden thoughts or hidden sin that we don't know anything about, that God wants us to deal with. And lately, God has been dealing with my mouth, my tongue. God has been giving me this verse over and over again. There's a time to be quiet. Just be quiet, especially when you're angry at your husband, especially when you're triggered, especially when you want to curse him out or say something that is negative. James 3:2, if I have my verse correct, it says that if anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able to withstand his whole body. So as I said in my last video, it's about your tongue. Your words is the hardest thing to control. Okay, your words. Can you learn to choose your words wisely, especially when you're being triggered, especially when a person is pissing you off? Because the tongue is unruly. It is a beast that cannot be tamed. And as a woman, the reason why we create problem and drama in our relationships, as I'm learning, is our tongue. This tongue that is so tiny, it really creates conflict in any relationship. This tongue is a beast. This is why when we as a woman love to just talk more and we don't listen to understand, instead of we want to listen to understand, we usually want to talk more because we think the other person is going to hear us, when in fact, when the more we talk, they just drown us out. They just not listening. Because even my son, okay, they start very early. He's 10, and when I'm talking too much, he gets bored. His face is already all over the place, and I already know that I just bored his head out of, I just bored him out, and he just like zoned me out saying, Mom, you talk too much. So this is why, as a woman, we really have to control our tongue. Not only that, gentleness. Gentleness, as I said, today, I am not the most gentle person. I'm trying my best to go back to being gentle, but it comes with a territory. It comes with practice, depending on my mood sometimes. When I'm really don't have enough rest, I have not enough sleep, I don't drink too much water, I'm dehydrated, I am lethargic, or maybe because I'm hungry. You have to really attune to your body. Sometimes we just snap, not because we want to as a woman, maybe because we're going through some stuff in our mind or in our body. Sometimes maybe we need rest. This is why you have to be attuned to your body's needs. If your body needs to take a nap for 15 minutes, and I have been really trying to be my own patient, okay? You need to really pay attention to the cues and the clues of what your body is saying. Because sometimes your body says, hey, I need to just rest for 10 minutes. And when you allow your body to do that, you feel better. Or there are times when my body says, stop eating too much junk. I want more fruits. I want more vegetables. I need for you to replenish me. And if you start listening to those cues and to those clues, I mean, it just changed the whole game. And this is why, as a woman, gentleness, when we're snappy, there must be a reason why. Why did you snap? Why did you get triggered? There is a cause. There's a root cause of that. Why are you triggered? As I said, until I have dealt with my trauma in my days, and let's spray this. Oh, this one. Aren't they so beautiful? They're so refreshing. I mean, this color is so copper. It's just so beautiful. And then if you're not going to deal with your trauma, I really don't know how long this video is going to be. Let me just sip a drink. Being snappy and being triggered is going to be your default. Because if you truly are dealing with this stress, just imagine yourself carrying this heavy load, okay, baggage, all of your trauma, pain, anger, jealousy, insecurity. You're carrying that around. No wonder why some women, they are just slouch, okay? They don't have an open, broad shoulders. They're not confident enough because all their life, okay, they're carrying all of this toxic in them. They're carrying all of this negativity in them. And it's like carrying your baggage. You know, when you go to the airport and you're going to carry that baggage instead of having the thing to roll it and just use your hands to drag that thing instead of carrying this whole backpack. I mean, that in itself is the analogy. If you have watched Pilgrim's Progress, that man who was starting his journey to salvation and to change his ways from glory to glory, there was a time there that he had this big backpack, or it looks like a backpack, but it's not. But that was the burden, his sin. Those are the things that he was carrying until somehow God just break those burdens away from his back, that he now can just say, I am finally free. I no longer carry this burden in me, my sin, whatever sin, that God is dealing in you. And the same thing with us women. We somehow do not have this gentleness, or we cannot be feminine because our feminine is wounded. Our feminine is screaming for attention and help and self-love. And as I said, self-love is self-care, is self-love. It is not selfishness. You must learn to love yourself as you love your neighbor. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. It is equally important. It is equally essential that you must love yourself and as you love your neighbor, because you can't love yourself. And let's do the lipstick, and probably I gotta go because I don't know how long this video. Forgive me, it's all over the place. I haven't been videotaping because, as I said, I've been organizing my place and so much going on in my life. So you'll have to really understand the root cause of your issue. We got to heal. You know why? Because our last generation was not willing to face their demons. The ancestors that came before me, like my parents, they are wounded because they are not brave enough to look their issues and their trauma in the face. We are now in the new generation. I think this generation is more self-aware. We're braver than the last generation, because the last generation are always overworking, right? They always overdrink, overindulgence. And as I see that there's a big transition now that's happening, if you look the generation now, there is now some kind of a different movement that this generation, my generation, and the next generation to come, they are now going to be healed. They're going to be much better people, because our generation, the millennials, whatever you want to call it, and the Gen Z, because if we are a healed human being, we are not going to bring traumatized people in this world. We're not going to have people that are so wounded and easily triggered, and they're gonna easily be snappy because we decided to heal. And one of the things that I've been telling my son is, if somehow I have offended you, and I never had this talk with my parents, not even apologize to me. And it's sad because parents do make mistakes. Okay, we are fallible people, we make mistakes. And I told my son, if I ever offended you in some ways, shapes, and or form, and if I am not the best person today, please let me know and tell me, Mom, you hurt me. Or you can come to me and tell me about your problem, because it's already hard to deal life today on your own. And if your children, especially teenagers, and they have nowhere else to turn to, guess what? They're gonna look at somewhere else, and they're gonna get involved into bad people with the wrong kinds of people, and you're just gonna regret it. As a parent, it is our job, especially as a mother, when we're raising boys to become a man, it's our job to look after their health too, because men are very good at hiding things, and they are not very good at expressing their emotions. They like to suppress it too. I mean, women, we can just talk. That's our nature. We just love to talk. But as a man, it's hard for them to share their emotion. They're very into themselves, and we have to really make them talk. And I'm so good at it. Okay, I'm so good at allowing men to talk. When I trigger them, they start talking, and now I know exactly what they've been hiding deep down inside their core, because of course there's a silver lining to everything. When I think about it, actually sometimes it's good to trigger your husband or your boyfriend, because they have a reservoir of a hidden treasure. It's not really treasure sometimes. Sometimes it's this toxicity that they feel about you. The abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And when you pay close attention to what they're saying, there it is. Like when we're good and fine, when I ask you, is everything good? You would say, yes, everything is fine. But when you are triggered, when something just pisses you off, all of a sudden you are sharing to me what you're not sharing to me when everything is good. So when you have a boy, especially men, they're not very good at sharing things. You have to tell them, you can always come to me, share to me what you're going through, tell me exactly how you feel. Because when you have this open space for open communication and not judging or belittling the other person, we can all heal better. And now I'm putting this lipstick. This is a 560 Saucy Mauve. What brand is this? I don't know what brand this is. L'Oreal, actually. It's so pretty. Look at this one. I'm trying not to wear red lipstick in the morning. It's too much. I'm not really a red lipstick person. My mom is. I mean, she loves red. I just like a more natural color. But sometimes when I'm in the mood, like I want to just pop a red color to become, seductive to my husband, or I like to put some color on my face, I just put this red lipstick right here. This is a YSL, but this one is so good. Oh, look how beautiful this color is. It's so natural. It's not too red, and that's why this is just my look. It's just simple daily look. I am not a makeup artist, so please, you can judge me all you want. So this is why, I don't even know what I did with my eye. Oh yeah, one more thing. So what else did I talk about as a standard beauty? So I said about embrace yourself, accept the fact whatever God has given you, your face, just accentuate it by using makeup. You don't need to change your things or your face. I mean, you can do that. Okay, whatever you want to do with your body, it's your body anyway. But what kind of message are we really sending the next generation? That we don't want to be old. Another thing, it's somehow a taboo. It's like an illness to grow old and to have wrinkles. It's not an illness. It's nature. Human nature. And we somehow make it as if it is the end of the world when we have wrinkles here and there, and we have, a turkey neck hanging from our neck. And I'm like, I can't believe I have this neck hanging out from my neck because I'm in my 40s. And of course, it's the diet, it's our food that we eat, and of course, stress too that contributes this thing right here. But the thing is, we somehow, as a society, do not want to be old. Somehow it's an illness, that it's something that we have to fix. Why? Why do we have to avoid growing old? Why are we escaping from reality? Some people really need to have a reality check. They need to be in touch with themselves, because some people are out of touch. They like to change something that naturally going to, the gravity is gonna pull all of this. Okay, it's gravity, it's the nature, it's the law of nature. You can't do anything about it. I mean, you can try to fight about it, you can do whatever you want to do, but that's just how it is. You're like fighting with a war that you're never gonna win. It's a cycle. It is a kind of hamster wheel that just somehow boggles my mind, saying, what's wrong with people? Satan is such a liar, isn't he? He has convinced people that you are not good enough, especially women. We bought this stupid lie. Your face is crooked, your nose is flat, your chest is too small, you need to lift it up, you need a buttocks and all this nonsense. You're going wrinkly and no one's going to take you seriously because God forbid when you grow old, you are not beautiful enough. I mean, come on. I mean, I've been really fighting back and forth whether to color my hair, because my hair has a lot of grays. I don't know if you can see it. You see that? I'm just putting this headband because I am putting my makeup. But I've been going back and forth whether to have to color my hair. And I bought this box. I've been staring for it for like the last 2 weeks now, because I'm telling to myself, okay, if I'm going to color my hair, in 2 weeks, it's going to go back to its natural anyway. It's going to go back to being gray. And I'm thinking to myself, do I really want to put a lot of chemicals in my hair? And this is why some women, they lose a lot of hair. They have thinning problem because they put too much chemical in their hair, okay, on their hair. And that's why you wonder why your hair is falling off and there's so much shedding on in your shower, in your whatever it is, like where you put your the sink, because we put too much crap in our body as a woman. We have so much stuff that we are not really doing service to our hair, that I'm thinking to myself, if I'm going to color my hair, this thing is going to grow back anyway. And do I want to go through the hassle? I'm just a practical person. I feel like if I'm going to grow gray hair, and I don't know what's going to look like, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, some people think, well, you look old and it's going to make you old. You're only 40s and you're going to allow your gray hair. So what? I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? This is what I said, embrace it. If that's your body's changing, if it's going to grow all gray hair, I don't know. Maybe it's beautiful, my hair. Who knows what I look like? That's something that I'm going to find out eventually. But I'm not going to beat myself up for trying so hard to cover things up, because as I said, we just have to have reality check. Women, we need to have reality check and not allow, as I said, other people to dictate to us what our standard is. As I said, if you want to color your hair, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If you want to do something on your face, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I'm saying is we cannot allow people otherwise to change the standard of beauty, because who decide? Who made this decision? Them? I mean, who give them the right to do so? Is it them? I mean, do they have a legal rights to tell the world that this is the kind of beauty that we should all embrace? It's really sad, and that is not the kind of message I want to send to my nieces. I don't have a daughter, but if I have a daughter, I would say, no, this is not acceptable. And we have to tell our daughters and younger children out there, little girls, that you cannot be like the model, what you see on magazine or on television, because they are Photoshop. Most of them are not really the way that they look. Some of them use filter when they post something on Instagram, reality versus Instagram post. Sometimes our society is really giving us this false identity that is not healthy for our next generation. And we have to tell our kids, if you have daughters, like, be careful of the kind of people, because here you are trying to tell yourself, why am I not look like her? Why don't I look like her? Why don't I have the same face as her? Why is my body fat? Or why is this? You're going to have all this body crisis, and you're going to end up with bulimic, anorexic, eating disorder. I've seen it, okay? I have a person in my life that is so dear to me who struggled with bulimia. And it was sad to see. She was always hospitalized. Everything she does was something that just really not good in her body. She had an identity crisis, and I have witnessed that because she is close to me, although we don't talk as much because I moved away. But I have seen how She had this eating disorder that every time she eats, she would go to the bathroom. And here she is, she was vomiting everything she was eating because she felt not good about herself because of comparison. And it was before social media, by the way. It was before Instagram. It was before Facebook. And she had dealt with that already. How much more now that we are being fed by this perfectionist, nonstop images of non-attainable things that is not even good for our children or for our teenager and even our own mental health, right? Because you are here trying to compare yourself. If somehow you look at someone and you feel not good about yourself, unfollow that person. Please, just unfollow it. If this brings so much jealousy in you and you just don't feel good about yourself, you should unfollow this kind of people. I have been very careful of what I think when I look at a specific individual. If I somehow feel this feeling of uneasiness and like, oh God, I can't stand this person. It seems like they have all this perfect life together. Maybe you need to really get back to yourself and says, why do I feel this way? What makes me look at this person and some reason I'm oozing with jealousy and I can't stand looking at her? Because again, there are traumas and there are things in your life that you must deal with, because if you're not really aware of what you're thinking, you're just going to sabotage yourself. You're going to end up trying to become like them. You're going to copy what they do. You're going to emulate the kind of lifestyle, even though you cannot afford it. Even though you know that you're not supposed to be doing all those things that are not good for your body or your skin. And you're trying so hard to be just like these people. So that is why, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. That's why you have to be aware right now. Okay? Be confident the way that God created you. Embrace who you are. You are unique in God's image. God doesn't want sameness. He doesn't want identical. He doesn't want people that looks the same. He wants variety. Colors. Just look around you. Study your world. Look at the hills and the valleys. Are they shaped the same? No. Oceans, rivers. We have so many things. Lakes it comes with different forms and texture. And the flowers, even the plants, they come with different varieties and color because God wants that. He doesn't want a bunch of clone that you cannot even differentiate between, is this the celebrity or this is the celebrity? They look alike. You cannot even make a distinction between the two. Okay? And it's sad. And we have to be aware of what Satan is doing in our society. Knowledge is power. That's why God said people perish for the lack of knowledge. Knowledge. Be aware. You cannot be in this world and let Satan dictate to us that we're going to make a standard and this is exactly what beauty is. I don't think so. Whatever you say, I am not going to condone that and I am not going to follow the trend. That's why be careful who you follow online. Okay, your mama and your sister is done preaching for today. I gotta go. I don't even know what time it is. It's almost 8:15 and this is one of the longest videos I have done because I just blah, blah, blah. So, be beautiful, hidden person of the heart. Be the hidden person of the heart, quietness and gentleness. And these are incorruptible beauty that God loves. We have to develop our character. Not just focus on our physical traits, but also cultivate this femininity, the kind of beauty that God wants us to exude as a woman. Not just the temporary fix, but also the eternal things that God loves. Okay, so we need to cultivate those feminine traits that God truly loves as a woman, gentleness and quietness. These are the two characteristics that I'm still trying my best to embody. Because as I said, gentleness doesn't come to me naturally, and quietness does not come to me naturally. It takes practice, it takes self-control, and it takes a lot of Holy Ghost and the interceding of the Lord Jesus Christ in your body and says, God, please, I can't do this on my own. Because naturally, we are all daughters of Eve. And Eve is the reason why we have a problem today as a woman. It's hard for us to submit to our husband. It's hard for us to be gentle. It's hard for us to be quiet because Eve said, I'll take it from here, Adam. I don't need you. I am just going to usurp your authority and I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. So that's why as a woman, our tendency is to rebel and to have disobedience, and we just like to be loud and empower this feminist movement saying, I don't need a man to tell me anything. I don't need a man's opinion. I don't need a man to even dictate to me what I must do and not do. But when you're married, it's not good, because it's going to create a lot of conflict and you're going to have butt heads. And that's why we're going to end up in divorce courts. And that's exactly we don't want to do.